Welcome everyone to Ultiworld's coverage of the 2018 US Open, coming to you from the National Sports Center in Blaine, Minnesota. I'm Keith Rayner, joined in the booth by Becky Thompson, and we have a semifinal here between Seattle BFG and Boston Slow White, a rematch of the World Ultimate Club Championship final. BFG emerged victorious in that matchup, but that story's already been told, so now we get to write a new one here. Slow White having this opportunity to get revenge.
Yeah, absolutely, Keith. They're definitely going to want to come out here and put their stamp on the game early on. They went down a little bit early in that final game to BFG back at WCC, so they're going to definitely want to come out and show that they're a different team only 2 weeks later.
Well, you mentioned being a different team, and there are some different players on this Slow White roster that they really took their 2017 roster to the World Ultimate Club Championships, and some big names from that roster will not be in action for this team, and we'll get underway. BFG in white, pulling to Slow White in the blacks. Slow White's offense getting the disc moving and quickly. First turn, though, coming fast, so Julia Bladen going to walk to pick up the disc. She'll bring it in, marked by Vicky Chang, and resets over to Mario O'Brien. Sam Pickle wide, and kind of a side stack set from BFG, although that disc gets over the head of Linnea Sue. Now Vicky Chang back with the disc for Slow White. She's looking deep. This one's hanging, and O'Brien able to offer enough of a contest to keep Trahey from coming down with it.
O'Brien just taking the inside track there, gets his hand up to the disc first, and it gives another chance here for BFG to work it up for the break.
O'Brien, a new player for BFG, but incredibly intelligent, thoughtful defender, and really a hard worker. And even though he has quite a few years under the belt, he still has a lot to offer in the elite club game on this D-line. Pickle takes the inside breaking out, dishes back to O'Brien. Alyssa Sue finding some room. Twin sister Linnea now resetting. Downfield action concentrated on the open side. Handlers working it to the break side. Stephen Gusson. BFG just taking their time here, not throwing any real contested looks, haven't made themselves throw any really difficult throws. That one deflected from Alyssa to Linnea, but Gusson winds up with it. Now O'Brien with the quick dish. Pickle holding about 5 yards out. And a little dominator set. Pickle up ahead to Bladen. And now a dump swing to Andrew Hagan, another one of the new additions to BFG. And BFG breaks to start. The goal to Hagan to take a 1-0 lead.
This is exactly what we saw from BFG yesterday as well, really working with that dominator set, using the handlers to go every other pass all the way up the field until they finally get that open break side opportunity, especially in the end zone when you have a player like Hagan who can move the way he does. He's so squirrely in some of those tight spaces. A very good cut from them in a first break to this game.
So BFG, their D-line offense showing a lot of skill, and that's been a big part of their success. They are undefeated this tournament. Slow White finishing second in their pool on the other side. Took a pretty thumping loss to AMP, who's in the other semifinal against Dragon Thrust. The winner of this game will advance to face the winner of that game, obviously. BFG will get to send their defense back out there. Slow White, we mentioned that they had a lot of personnel changes. I think that the two chief among those would be the losses of Tanner Johnson and Lexi Zalk. But there are some other players who've moved around on this team, and all of the change, I think, has put them in a position where they've had to make a lot of adjustments. They're having to put people in new roles that they haven't previously. But one of the players who's really stepped up is Alex Trahey as he makes the first throw. Trahey has been an offensive star for this Slow White team. But there, a miscommunication with Caitlin Go. Leah Baron Simmons gets the block. BFG with another break opportunity. Tommy Lee picks up. And a quick turnover drop by Andrea Coleman on an easy reset. It's going to give Slow White an opportune chance to hold. And into the end zone it goes. Trahey gets the assist up ahead to Marcel Oliart.
And Slow White's really going to have to look to players like Trahey, I think, here to step up a little bit in terms of their leadership. They were a little bit shaky when they played this team 2 weeks ago, and this time not letting their second opportunity on offense go to waste, and they're bringing it up into the end zone for a good goal there, not allowing BFG to actually challenge that just too much either.
Oliart, still a very young player, still at the University of Pittsburgh. I believe he's going into his sophomore season with the 2017 D1 college finalists. They've also added Tess Johnson, who's not playing with the team. She's playing with her YZC team. She's that young. So lose one Johnson, get another one. Tess is Tanner's younger sister. Leanne Go, another college player coming over to the team. So they're bringing in some new talent, but also asking players to step up into bigger roles. We've seen, like we mentioned, Trahey taking on a bigger role. Tommy Ferguson has been an important part of their team. Pat Barron. We'll get a chance to see what this 2018 Slow White really looks like. Our first chance to see their D-line. Adam Simon taking the centering pass, and his continues too high for Kieran Kelly. So, and suboptimal first possession for the BFG offense. Sean Doherty initiating things for Slow White. Vertical stack downfield as the handlers move the disc around. And a stall call back at the disc. A quick 10 seconds, but I don't know that Olivia Hampton got that off before Lindsay Simon Fox got to the T and 10.
Contested stall, you're in on 8. Stalling 8.
Is there any call with a higher percentage of contests than stall?
No, I mean, it's so hard to know if you got it out of your hands or not, so.
Hampton gets a nice look with such a little amount of time, just hammers across the field. Pat Barron kind of high steps his way to that break side cone and pulls that one up. So a break for Slow White, taking advantage of a quick mistake from BFG, ties up at 2-2.
A great job here as well, recognizing that the stall count was so high on the reset, making the cutter come all the way under to the far side of the end zone, and Barron does a great job to withstand the pressure there to take in the score for the break.
So Slow White back on serve, and now I'll send the defense back out. 2-1 now. Get another look at their defense. The look was pretty brief, given how short the BFG possession was, but So two of the 36 teams in the ICC division, the US Open, the International Club Championship. Just had the World Ultimate Club Championships. Now we have the International Club Championship. This one may be a little less international. But in a World's year, really difficult to recruit a lot of international teams when they just spend most of their traveling budget coming here to the U.S. for a week or two. Jeff Pape putting a long throw up and brought down Bryce Simon Fox with the aerial display for the two-hand grab, tied up at 2-2.
Ivan Tran there for Slow White tried to come back up into the back of him a little bit there to try to get himself in a position to make that D, but Bryson Simon Fox does such a good job here of taking that inside lane and boxing Tran out in order to reach up and make that grab.
And with Jeff Pape and Adam Simon as the primary handlers for this BFG O-line, you can expect that if you give them an open deep look early in a possession, they're going to take it. These are two aggressive throwers. And we got to watch this mixtape team take on their neighbors, Seattle Mixtape, yesterday. And both teams were working really hard to take away those initiating set plays, and it really bogged down both offenses.
Yeah, absolutely. They had to find different ways to move the disc up the field. BFG likes to use those big hug plays like we just saw in that last point, and yesterday they were unable to do so for the biggest portion of that game. So good to see them figuring out and adjusting now to make those plays again.
And to be fair, they were playing without Kieran Kelly, who's probably their primary initiating option. He and Rena Kawabata have used their athleticism to great effect for this team on offense. But they have Kelly back for this game. Like we mentioned, the ICC is just one part of the US Open. YCC, the Youth Club Championships, also taking place simultaneously. It's the second year that the two events have been paired together. Great opportunity to celebrate the Ultimate community, but also connect the youth scene and the club scene. A lot of players coaching across both divisions, coaching or playing in both divisions. Slow White getting the disc moving to Vicky Chang. David Friedman gets the reset. Caitlin Go underneath now. Go, the Stanford alum, now going across the field, but beyond the reach of potentially an unintended target. David Friedman in the area, but didn't really have a shot at that one.
Yeah, Go kind of ran out of options there as well. Vicky Chang was dancing a little bit in the middle, and it forced her to have to throw that cross-field shot, and it was just too far out of the reach of any receivers.
So BFG initiating from that front cone. O'Brien inside break to Hagan. Now to a diving Linnea Sue up ahead to Julia Bladen. Pickle curls to get up the line, but there's a call. Looks like another contested stall. Just go back to Bladen. The previous time these two teams matched up back in
Stalling 8.
And here just a clarification about how that call resolves. Now back underway. Disc in the hands of Bladen. Bladen getting it every other. Going to work against Vicky Chang. And Pickle with the upline cut. Another quick curl cut, catching his defender unprepared. And it's another break for BFG. They take a 3-2 lead.
BFG just happy to work it up that far sideline as well, not too worried about moving it off there, as they knew players like Bladen and Pickle were consistently getting open. When you have players that are consistently beating your checks, in my mind, totally fine to keep going up the line.
Take another look. Pickle just really his defender unprepared. Sean Krieger not with the physical position to defend that cut. And honestly, in my opinion, one of the biggest parts of being a good cutter isn't necessarily being fast or explosive. It's about the ability to recognize when you have the advantage. And there, a common trick is if you can see the person who's guarding you's back, you probably can get open on them. And right then, Pickle recognizes that he has his defender's back to him and makes a hard change of direction, goes up the line.
Yeah, take advantage of those situations for sure. Those are the smartest players, and those are the ones that are going to separate top players with lower ones and separate those top teams from lower teams as well.
So the Seattle defense back out there. Number 1 ranked BFG, reigning world champions now. Semifinalists last year, as was Slow White at the national championships. But both teams fell in that semifinal round. So Trahey bringing the disc in with a vertical stack ahead of him. Front stack cut completely cuts off a wide open Leanne Go, but offense still moving. Rachel Westgate back to Trahey. Chang gets there. You can see how important not only Trahey but Vicky Chang is to this offense. This goes over to Go. She flips it over to Caitlin Go. Leanne and Caitlin for the score. And Slow ties it back up at 3-3.
It's a good pop pass in there as well from Leanne Go to find Caitlin Go, forcing the layout a little bit, but also trusting the receiver there, knowing that Caitlin Go could get to that disc. You see them just work it up the near side here as well, and constantly having other options for the cuts, the reset, looking for the break again, and then another break throw into the end zone.
Leanne Go coming over from UC San Diego, just had a tremendous season, one of the best recent seasons for that program. And that kind of quick break throw was really the basis of their offense. So no surprise to see her flipping that over. So she and Caitlin Go, 2 Southwest region college products now doing their work for the Boston mixed team. So White's D-line preparing on the line to deal with the quick strike offense we've seen from BFG. We'll see if they make any defensive adjustments. Adam Simon fielding the pull up to Jeff Pape. Kieran Kelly underneath, gets it from Kawabata. Those 2 we mentioned are primary cutting options for BFG. Kelly gets it again with Ryan Turner in coverage. Nice throw up the line from Kirkland to Pape. And Pape with a good shot to the end zone. And Lindsay Simon Fox, just a generous gesture to Kieran Kelly, deflects the disc for him. I don't know who gets the assist there.
I think Simon Fox there is asking the same question. You can see her smiling, knowing exactly what happened, and good help and teammate support there for Kieran Kelly to still be continuing that cut into the back of the end zone to make the score.
Take another look. Another one of those curl cuts from BFG. Pape gets underneath his mark, and then Simon Fox just says, you know, Mr. Kelly, I think you deserve a little help. You can have this one. Tiptoe on the back line for Kelly. Makes it 4-3 BFG. BFG showing they can get it done in multiple ways. We've seen them work the unders on the open side. We've seen them attack the break side. We've seen them go to the deep game. Slow White's defense struggling to find a real way to slow down BFG.
And
but most teams that we've seen have had the same problem.
yeah, lots of teams have had that issue with BFG. It's one of the main reasons that they were the world champions only 2 weeks ago as well. Have a hard time shutting down their offense, and BFG is also one of those teams that seems to be constantly adapting to the different styles of defense as well. They're showing us that they can play the dominator set, they can look for the hucks, and now they're also working it on the unders and looking up the line. So definitely adapting to the different defenses they're playing against.
Trehi to Chang, but Chang's throw is too low. Break opportunity for BFG. O'Brien over to Alyssa, to her twin sister. Linnea back to Pickle. Bladen attacking with the give and go, and then the continue into the end zone, but stoppage of play is going to send this back.
Looks like there was an injury called there before the play continued. Rachel Westgate going down on the far side of the field.
Walking off a bit gingerly with some assistance. Hannah Baranis subbing in. Westgate a key figure for this O-line downfield. Alyssa Sue's initiating cut, well defended by Baranis. So BFG's offense moves backwards and Linnea comes and gets it. Pickle, sharp inside break retrieved by O'Brien, and another break for BFG. They take a 5-3 lead with 3 breaks in this game.
BFG doing such a great job as well of timing their cuts and cutting one at a time through that end zone set. They have Linnea Sue cutting hard back for the under. She clears out of the reset lane, opening up that space for O'Brien to make that cut and making it so that her defender can't get that poach block as well. A great inside shot from Pickle.
And it's such a difficult, dangerous throw, the inside. I mean, I know some coaches who basically ban it from their team because it's so tempting. As someone who basically has no arounds and only throws insides, I certainly fell for that trap as a younger player, but that window closes really quickly. Now you can extend that window with skill and with execution, and you see Pickle really stepping out to deliver that throw, changing the release point a little bit, as not only in where in relation to his body he's releasing the disc, but at what point in his throwing motion he released the disc, and extended that window a bit, getting the disc out in front of O'Brien, which it's just very difficult to execute. Once you become an advanced player, you can break the rules a little bit. Of course, now all the kids just want to throw offhand backhands for that throw.
Well, that is true too, Keith, isn't it?
Kids these days. Slow White's offense, having conceded 3 breaks, going to need to pick things up. Trehi initiates. Nice counter cut from Go. Vicky Chang's deep cut drawing defensive attention, and Go streaking underneath. And Chang gets low to save Trehi's forehand up to her. And now Caitlin Go chases after Trehi's forehand huck, but not the right edge on that. You could see how the disc was tilted away from the receiver, and its flight did not favor Go.
And you could see Go bent down a little bit like she wanted to bid for it, but you could see it trailing away, and those are definitely the types of ones you don't always want to go for, and especially to avoid injury risks too. So a smart play. Unfortunate that that disc was trailing away from her.
Break side throw up ahead to Tommy Lee on the sideline under duress from David Friedman. Carrie Chang with room to throw deep. He's going to put one up for Kyle Terrier. It's hanging. Terrier hanging longer. Goes high to pull that one in and lands just barely inside the end zone. BFG breaks again.
Chang putting that one up into a pretty covered Terrier as well. There was 2 slow white defenders there, but credit to Terrier, managed to get up, elevate above the 2 slow white players. You see, gains a little bit of speed and comes from behind almost to get that grab.
So a timeout from Slow White as they're looking to find some defensive answers to BFG. They have been effective with 3 Huck scores, but also 3 scores in the red zone. So can't give them long, can't give them short. What can you give them? BFG looking clean right now.
Yeah, BFG definitely looking like a stronger team than they looked yesterday in that mixtape game as well. They're a lot more consistent, and they're valuing the disc when they get that possession back on offense. So definitely good to see what they're able to accomplish right now. And Slow White, I think they're just going to have to come out and put on a little bit more defensive pressure and intensity, at least force a few poor decisions from BFG that we haven't seen yet.
And on top of that, BFG getting contributions from a lot of different players. 6 different goal scorers, 4 different goal throwers. So the entire cast on display for BFG. If you do you want to hazard a guess at what BFG stands for?
Big Friendly Giants.
That would be my assumption too. Do you know something I don't?
That is what I was told it was back at WCC, but I'm sure that there are multiple meanings, and maybe that's the decoy one that they don't want to tell us.
So what I've heard from the team is that it just changes. They just tell you whatever they feel like it should be at the time.
So
Maybe it
that's
stands
the
for
currently
nothing.
one.
It just is BFG. Whatever it is, it's working right now. BFG with a 6-3 lead on Boston. Andrew Hagan ready to pull to this Boston O-line. Hagan out of Cal Berkeley. A nice addition to this defense. So a bit of a different look here from BFG. Zone applied. Now transitioning to match. Ferguson up ahead, and a pick call as Go rifles one to the end zone, but don't think this one will stand. Good to see Rachel Westgate's back standing. She brings that one in, but laments having to send it back. Go will keep the disc. Liengo, rather. She brings it in. Disc up ahead, and now Slow White in the red zone, and an inside break from Trehe. Oliart gets another score, and Slow White gets a much-needed hold. 6-4, they trail.
There's another one of those tough inside shots we were talking about not too long ago. That one, Oliart didn't even have to move. He was just open in the middle of the end zone, so good vision to find him. Tough shot through, kind of threading the needle a little bit there, but well done by Slow White. They really needed to get that hold coming out of a timeout.
I think in the red zone, you see a lot more of those inside breaks, particularly those ones to kind of the standstill at the front of the stack, because players commit so much energy to defending that front open side cone, and sometimes open up pretty big windows, and all you need to do is just fire it in there, but it can be difficult and sometimes distracting away from other options. All things in moderation.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be looking for that shot every single time. Even if you think it might be there, sometimes that poach is when that's going to come in. So hitting it every now and then is great. If you try and go for it every time, the defense is also going to pick up on that.
Absolutely, and I think maybe the most important thing you can do offensively in Ultimate is present multiple threats. You know, if you can attack the inside and the around, how's the defense going to defend you? Whichever one they're giving you is the one you take. No defense can take away everything. Maybe it's the unders and the outs. Maybe it's the inside, the outside. Maybe it's the break lane and the open side lane. Lots of different axes to attack on. BFG now attacking as go through that inside break lane to Calbata. All this route getting a touch and then dropping it off for Simon and then takes off. Simon trying to float one out in front of Root. And that's just enough float for Root to glide in for the score. He's still flying. Some say he's still going.
That was a beautiful grab from Root there. Extended, caught it with his inside hand as well as the disc was trailing away from him, which is such a hard grab to make. A really great play for BFG.
Take another look. Simon lays this one out in front. And the trailing edge grab from Root. Didn't quite get as much slide as I think. But he just holds it. I mean, holds the pose, holds the disc, gets the goal. BFG now with a 7-4 lead. The youngster Root coming up with a big play. And look at how he sets up this cut just with a little bit of hesitation. Waits for Pat Barron to let his guard down and then takes off. Sticks the landing. So BFG pressing their advantage here. So White's offense finding a little bit of rhythm last point, so we'll see if they can continue that. Four women on the line for Slow White. Another benefit of having a healthy Westgate. Now back to Chang again. We're seeing kind of a poachy look from BFG. But they look tight now, and there's a deep shot going up for Liang Go, and she can go right to the end zone for a goal. That's a quick score from Trehi to go.
That's exactly the kind of offense that Slow White needs to generate. That kind of confidence-boosting offense that when you execute a play so perfectly well, it can boost the energy on your team as well. And Leanne Go here is so open, and a perfect throw into her hands right in the middle of the end zone. No chance for BFG to challenge on that one.
Marcel Oliart with a great shot there. We've seen him on the receiving end of a couple of hucks, and now showing that he can put it up. Leanne Go doing some nice work, showing off the wheels there. But it's now on the shoulders of the Slow White defense to try and get them back into this game. Not generating a lot of mistakes from BFG, not generating enough pressure right now. We'll see if they perhaps mix up the looks. I see some new personnel out there, so trying to change up the matchups, try and figure out what can work, especially when you have so many new players on the team and players in new roles. You kind of have to experiment. And for Slow White, since they used Worlds to celebrate last season, this is kind of like the beginning of their season. Initiating cut by Crystal Koo, and then she goes ahead to Alexa Kirkland. Attempted 7 cut there by Koo is missed, but Pape with the layout save, and now he's putting it up. Kirkland uncovered, and that score takes us to half. BFG's offense humming right now as they take an 8-5 lead over Slow White.
And that's the first real miscue that we've seen from BFG as well, but Pape, such a great heads-up play to come in and get that disc on the second attempt on the bid, but he bounced up so quickly and saw wide open Kirkland, got his balance, put up that huck, and they take half with a great put there.
So the teams will take a 10-minute break. We're going to do the same. You're watching the 2018 U.S. Open, brought to you by USA Ultimate and produced by Ultiworld. We'll see you in about 10 minutes for the second half.
More testing. Additional testing. Still testing. Additional. Nope, nothing. Still testing. You just said we're not live streaming? Still just. What? Just the one speaker. No. Yes. Luke was saying. Yes, I'm still sure. The observers ruled that speaker does not work.
them, they're not dead.
Someone heard something from the speaker to my right. Confirmed. Tom Manowitz might be an electrician. He had an extra cord. It was the cord.
Welcome back to Ultiworld's coverage of the 2018 U.S. Open, brought to you by USA Ultimate and produced by Ultiworld. We are back for the second half of this semifinal matchup between Seattle BFG and Boston Slow White. Seattle BFG with an 8-5 lead at the halftime break. Very impressive first half by them, Becky.
Yeah, BFG has come out and really dominated with their offensive line. They've been consistent, which is not something we saw them able to do yesterday, and that's allowed them to go up 3 breaks here as well, up 8-5, and Slow White is having a really hard time containing their offense.
Yeah, BFG's offense is moving with quite a bit of pace, and they showed they could score in a lot of different ways and from a lot of different players. Slow White, chance to make some adjustments now. Coach Marshall Goff probably talking them through what they might want to do differently. And out on defense to start this one. See the BFG offense. Kieran Kelly out there with Crystal Koo, Carrie Chang, Rena Kawabata, Jeff Pape, Lindsay Simon Fox, Alexa Kirkland. And the pull going up from Slow White. And after the chaos of the conditions we've seen, Becky, through the first couple days of this tournament, it's relatively calm now. We've had some crazy wind and precipitation. Had to take some extra precautions for the stream even. So it's been a wild one, and yet after all that, here we are in a pretty calm situation for the semifinals. Immediate throw to Kieran Kelly, who does an excellent job using his body to hold off Barron for the score. Kelly, the Cincinnati alum, striking quickly in combination with Pate.
That's really one of the things that Kieran Kelly absolutely loves to do as well. He does that so well when he goes deep. He doesn't even look necessarily like he's open in that initial when that initial throw goes up, but as soon as the disc goes up, he gains those yards and reads it so well, tracking it down to the back of the end zone.
Kelly's really blossomed as a cutter over the past couple seasons. Really started to take off as a senior at Cincinnati and then headed out to Seattle, played a year with Sockeye, and now is in his second season, I believe, with this BFG team and has become one of their most important weapons. So now, deeper hole for Slow White, 9-5. Winner of this game will advance to the final. Get a chance to play against Philadelphia Amp. Defeated Minneapolis Dragon Thrust 13-10 in that one. Try and win the first leg of the Triple Crown. Oliart gets the underneath and pops it right back to Trey. Chang gets another touch. And a pick call here. Just coming to Sean Krieger. O'Brien saying the pick was not involved in the initial catch, but contested throw. But Oliart brings it in and then goes over to Caitlin Go. Go high stall count, throws a scuba and an incompletion there. Seen Go get trapped with the disc a couple of times by BFG's defensive pressure in the red zone.
Yeah, definitely. They're doing a very good job of putting on a very tight mark whenever she gets the disc. They know that she's a go-to cutter for this Slow White team as well. So as soon as she does get possession, they are really tightening down on that mark and made it very hard for her to get any throws up.
Bladen takes the centering pass. Her sister actually played with this Slow White team last season, and the two got to compete against each other in the World Championship Finals, but Mia not with Slow White now. But Julia Bladen getting frequent touches, executing a lot of strong give and goes. Up the middle for Linnea. Bladen looking deep for Gussin, but short arms it, intercepted by Friedman. Oliart winds one up, puts it out for Trehe. Trehe tracks the sideline, tracks the disc into his own hands as well. And Slow White scores 9-6 now.
And you can see Trey had so much time to track that one down. An unfortunate miscue before from Bladen as that one went too short, but Slow White took advantage of it and just hangs up here. Could have jumped up just before that, but waits till he's in the back corner of the end zone, and O'Brien, not much he could do about that one either.
Trehe really just showing his versatility as an offensive weapon for Slow White. We've seen him attacking deep, attacking with his throws. I believe he had 8 assists in one of their games yesterday. But Marcel Oliart also acquitting himself quite nicely. Nice new young piece for Slow White. So BFG's offense coming back onto the field. Pull about to go up from Walker Hat. Hatchet's pull lands just past midfield. defense set, but good field position for Adam Simon and BFG as they start with an initiating deep cut and a counter flood to the other side for Kawabata. Break side throw by Kawabata up ahead to Alyssa Sue, moonlighting on the O-line. Koo resets to Simon. Lofts one out in front of Kawabata. Simon Fox into the end zone for Alyssa. And another one possession hold for Seattle to make it 10-6.
And you can see BFG's cutters set up pretty deep on that point, but they worked those unders and allowed them to get huge gainers through the legs of Rina Kawabata, getting the disc 20 yards upfield at a time and working it towards the end zone. A relatively easy hold there for BFG.
See here how it finished with that open side throw from Simon Fox to Sue. BFG's offense not really slowing down, giving precious few break chances. Slow White only able to generate one break chance this game. Did convert it, so 100% rate, but not generating the volume necessary to take advantage of that. BFG's Tommy Lee getting ready to pull. Lee. High release. Gets things moving up the middle, and now here's Oliard again. And some contact away from the play.
Doesn't look like that one really had an effect on the play, but hard to tell from here.
It was Sarah Bendit who went down for BFG.
What's the count? 4. 4.
So this will stay with Oliar coming in on 4. Players repositioning. Terrier on the mark. Pick call downfield. Strahe comes around to Krieger. Still right to the break side for Trahe and continued. And an inside break from Chang, just the high release to Westgate for the goal. And a bit herky-jerky with the stoppages, but the offense itself pretty smooth for Slow White as they go into the end zone for their 7th goal of the game.
Always good for an offense to be able to still work through their system despite the stoppages on a point as well. And Westgate doing such a good job of attacking that near side of the end zone throughout the course of this game. Gets them an important hold, and Slow White now really need to find a way to generate some sort of difference and maybe even a little bit of magic on their side for this defensive point.
And we talked about earlier being able to attack around and inside, and there you see 2 straight around breaks, and Chang just kind of reverses course by going back to the inside break into the end zone for Slow White. So Slow White's defense back out and still looking to get something out of this BFG team. Trying to get blood from a stone right now. Kerry Chang fields the pull. Centers to Adam Simon. Liberally pivots out for the upfield throw. Pressure on Simon Fox on this open side sideline. Kerry Chang and Crystal Koo working the disc back and forth, and now off the line to Simon. Kelly, open side, and just the quick continue out in front of Simon Fox, and Lindsay does the rest. 11-7, BFG leads.
BFG, they're not looking too phased by a little bit more defensive pressure from Slow White. They got pushed back several times on the handler sets, but always had another option, and then opening it up to this open side, and Lindsay Simon Fox gets plenty of separation from her defender into the end zone for this goal.
So, second half has been all holds. Very few turnovers, really. Pretty different from what we saw from this this BFG team when they took on Mixtape on Friday of competition. And we were saying yesterday that it wasn't really, didn't feel like there was a clear favorite in the mixed division. In your mind, if BFG goes on to win this game and were to win this tournament, would they be the clear favorite to win the national championship?
It's debatable still at this point with the mixed division, just because all these teams are so close together in skill level and they have the ability to challenge each other. I mean, AMP played BFG.
Deep shot hanging here, but position always available for Friedman. Another assist for Trehe. But you were saying, Becky.
You know, it's too long of a thought almost to get it out during this game, but I was going to say AMP have competed recently against BFG at World Club, so obviously they're going to come out with a different strategy having seen them recently, so I think that allows for the mixed division to stay interesting throughout the rest of the year.
Seen many surprises over the years from the mixed division. Imagine we have some more in store during the 2018 season. So, Slow White on defense now, still searching for answers to the questions BFG has been asking. Hatchet on the pull. And miscommunication about who should field the pull, so a bit of a short start for Pape. Again, we see that reverse flood and nearly blocked. Nice effort by Slow White. Now Kelly, 25 yards out, and then Chang with the easy dish over to Sue for another BFG hold. And Sue, not typically a member of the O-line, but coming over for a pair of goals. So they must have seen something they liked, and we're seeing it now as well.
Yeah, I think BFG is starting to really work those matchups that they've seen throughout the course of this game, and that reverse flood stack is working so well from them. They're almost throwing a decoy out at first, and then they're flooding over to a huge under. Kawabata withstanding that through some tight coverage, but manages to get it, and once they're through here, they're off to the races all the way up the field.
Well, it goes right back to what we were talking about when we talked about inside breaks and rounds, attacking from two different angles. If you're slow wide and you don't give enough attention to that initiating deep cut, you get burned by Kieran Kelly or Aldous Root. But if you lend your resources to that, the reverse flood opens up, and now you're giving up an under to Rena Kawabata or Lindsay Simon Fox, and put you between the rock and a hard place. And I think one of the things we talk about is a team dictating the game. And BFG has been able to dictate in this game. And it is both their play calling and their execution that's allowed them to do that. I mean, they are dictating the slow white defense right now.
Yeah, BFG is getting the opportunity to put the disc exactly where they want to and on their own terms throughout the course of this game.
Always felt like the team that whoever controls what style of game is being played is the team that wins the game. Stoppage now at Caitlin Go down on the grass. You see Leah Braun-Simmons sitting down to join her. Nice gesture from the opposition. So goes up, and she is going to sub out. Go out, go in. Go goes out, go goes in. Caitlin goes leaving, and Leanne goes now in. And immediately, Leanne go right off the bench, given the rocket. Can't quite get to that before Braun-Simmons gets the block. Tough spot to be in, to jump in a little cold and have to make the cut right away. Pickle up the middle to Anne-Marie Pape, usually referred to as Amp, I believe. Tommy Lee up line. And Pickle's throw a little bit behind Braun-Simmons, so in her attempt to stop, she slipped on the grass. Now Trey putting one up. Lots of separation for Friedman, but that window is closed by Terrier.
We're seeing more turnovers on this point than we've seen so far at all in this second half as well here, Keith, but credit to the defense there from Terrier. That was a huge block. He got really high up for that one.
Yeah, this looked like this could have turned into an uncontested catch, but Terrier attacking the disc, breaking up the play. Austin Barden resetting, and now all the way around to Braun-Simmons. With Noah O'Brien on the field, Pickle taking over the offense right now from the backfield. Terrier shimmies his way open into the middle of the field. Push pass to Pickle. And Pickle almost makes the same mistake with the throw behind on the swing, but Terrier with an impressive layout grab to pull that in with one hand. And now Barden with a great touch on the forehand out in front of Braun-Simmons for a BFG break.
And that is the first break of the second half here, as well as BFG finally finds a way through the slow white offense again. and they really took advantage. Pickle making a few mistakes there, but help offense from his teammates. A big D there from Terrier. I'm not sure he actually made contact with it, but just enough intimidation to cause the fumble from Slow White, and then this nice inside flick shot once again to two open players from BFG for the first break of the second half, and now they lead 13-8.
BFG now 5 for 7 in break opportunities this game. It's a high conversion rate. Offense has been strong, both their O-line and after the turn, their D-line. That type of tidy offensive performance is going to be tough for nearly anyone to take down. BFG's defense looking for the necessary turns to close this one out. Healthy 13-8 lead. Hagan takes away the early huck. And go underneath. Trahey gets the reset, but his throw is behind Ari Nelson. Her efforts to get to it are to no avail. So O'Brien, pre-timeouts, picks up the disc, takes the real timeout.
Were you counting down or counting up? Up. So we're coming down. No, coming in at 7. Yep. Time out, bring it in.
So it looks like Oliart was already past the pre-stall and was stalling.
Okay, then it's coming in on 1.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's.
So
No,
Oliart's
I was.
sounds like there's
Okay.
confusion.
It's a timeout. We're gonna come in on 1. Sorry.
Some confusion there. I think Oliart was pre-stalling, but either the observer understood it as actual stalling, thinking that the pre-stall had already occurred, or Oliart was also confused and presented it as actual stalling. So no stall count. You're going to come in saying 1.
Maybe a little bit of a double confusion from both of them there, I think, Keith.
Yeah, the pre-stall rate is different based on the amount of distance that the offense is from the disc, but counted backwards, whether it's 10 or 20 seconds. Then once you arrive at the pre-stall, then you can stall. However, I believe the observer pre-stalls in these situations, so Oliart shouldn't really have to worry about it. Whatever it is, it has been straightened out.
And BFG here really looking to hammer this one home. They can take this to game point by scoring this, and I think it's a good call for Mario O'Brien to call this timeout, settle it down a little bit, and they're in the driver's seat now and really just taking control of these final few points here, Keith.
Yeah, they really asserted themselves in the first half and maybe took their foot off the gas in the second, but it's not been enough for Slow White to get back into this game, as they've been able to hold off Boston with a strong level of execution that's continued through the second half. Brian initiates with an around break to Linnea. Give and go work between O'Brien and Linnea, and then he goes to the break side for Bladen. And O'Brien just continues to motor around the field, just leaving Trahey in his wake as he gets the break for a 14-8 lead for BFG.
O'Brien absolutely tearing apart Slow White's defense there. Goes 1-2 with Linnea Sue over to Bladen, 1-2 with Bladen, and just times his cut perfectly, waiting for Bladen to be able to get that disc back. Unguardable when you take off like that after your throw.
Absolutely, and I think that giving going is now even more popular than it once was. I think a lot of players have become more comfortable with short, quick disc movement and attacking with your legs, especially when you're getting a reset towards the break side and you can bring the defense's momentum towards the break side, trying to stop you from throwing a continue pass to the weak side of the defense. Now we're seeing a lot more players comfortable, and even offenses designed around attacking those two different parts of the field. So Seattle 1 point away from advancing to the final and take on AMP. If they can do that, they'll be working backwards from how they went through Worlds, where they beat AMP in the semifinals and then Slow White in the final. So the pull goes up. BFG with Slow White, excuse me, with a D line now on O. The offense has been out there for a little while. Pat Barron comes under, sends it to Baranas. Here's the reset over to Andy Schachter. Now Nelson putting it up, but there's traffic in the area. And Doherty, an admirable effort, but too many bodies around him to get there. Pickle quickly gets horizontal for that one. Lee to Terrier coming under after a deep cut took a lot of the attention, and there a lot of contact. Terrier's trying to step out and around, and another body coming up, and looks like everyone is okay, fortunately. Terrier brings it in trapped on the open side sideline. Contested catch in the middle of the field for Barden. Now looks like BFG slowing down a little bit here as they enter the red zone and want to take smart, easy looks. And Pickle tries to squeeze up the open side sideline and maybe a little close to make that throw easy. It's a hard throw to throw very short but keep it catchable. Rare turnover from BFG, giving Slow White a second chance. Barron resets to Nelson. Now Baranas up ahead. Inside break and a great layout block, although a call here uncontested, so it's actually going to be a great goal. Great attempt there from Barden, but Turner gets the goal as it was dislodged from his hands after he stopped rotation. So Slow White holds.
Barden did great to contest that, as you see the disc go all the way up that sideline. The inside shot goes for it, but in the hands before he gets there, and a no contest call there, and Slow White finds a hold, extending this game a little bit further here, but BFG still in control of this game and 1 point away from making the finals.
You know, we said that the inside break can be risky, and it exposes you to that kind of play. Perhaps a little bit fortunate that it got there before the defender. But regardless, Slow White gets the hold and their 9th goal of the game. Trail by 5. Backs against the wall. Good to see that your D-line go out there and get a hold for you when you need him to. Slow White defense organizing themselves. BFG's offense knowing they just have to do what they've been doing all game. Full centered over to Pape. A horizontal stack play to start. Everyone streaks deep, and coming across the field is Crystal Koo. She comes under and gets it, and now a couple throws later, Bryson Simon Fox fed to Lindsay Simon Fox. She's looking for an option, gets the around off to Simon. Kirkland on the break side. Back to Pape. Pape offhand backhand. I think there might have been a pick call, however.
Yeah, it was a pretty open Simon going up line. I think maybe just some discussion about whether or not there was a play on it.
Yeah, I guess.
Like
I
if
mean,
you hadn't
yeah.
left me, totally.
So
but-
I may have been outside of 10 feet, but I have no idea.
Okay, so are we going to send it back? Are you going to come to
Let's
me?
not go to orange. We'll send it back.
Okay.
What's the count? 5.
So the players agreeing not to engage the third party outside of a little help clarifying. Disc goes back to Pape. An attempted jump in, and that's going to be ruled a score. That's going to send BFG to the final of the U.S. Open. It will take on AMP after a comfortable 15-9 victory over Boston Slow White.
BFG just in the driver's seat throughout this entire game. They showed us so many different looks on offense, and they grinded out some of those defensive points as well. Bryson Simon Fox on that last point had a great layout grab earlier to attack the disc, and then manages to keep his feet in bounds here at the end as well. BFG headed towards a rematch of their semifinal from World Clubs against AMP, and it's sure to be a good game as well, Keith.
Absolutely, two very talented teams and two of the most respected clubs in the mixed division taking each other on in the final. The final here is BFG 15, Slow White 9 for Becky Thompson. I'm Keith Rayner. Thank you for joining us and hope you enjoy the show.